I'm just getting back into my routine after Thanksgiving travel. And rather than jumping into holiday shopping for my Christmas gift giving, I thought I would show you what I'm doing to cut costs and provide meaningful gifts. It made sense to start at the big box store to get a little wood. I like to use fence pickets because it's good wood once cleaned up, and it's cheap. Back at my workshop, I cut the planks down into different lengths and sand them to get ready to work. I have a front door planter that one of my friends really likes, and I've decided to make her one for her front door. So, first, I had to measure the length I'll need from the sanded wood, and then cut the needed length. With that done, I needed to decide how big the planter box will be. With the length and sides cut, I was ready to attach the sides to the planter length. I like using this wood glue because it makes a strong bond and is fast attaching. The only downside is I have to wipe off any excess with white vinegar and water because it will discolor if you would color stain. Once I've glued the sides, I let it sit for a moment and then wipe off any excess glue, so I can come back and nail the sides in place to allow the glue to set, which also allows me to keep working on the planter. Then, to create the bottom width. I don't have to do any measuring, just mark off the width. I'll use the same process when I'm ready to do the front. Adding the front is the final step in making the box lower section, and it follows the same process of adding wood glue, nailing it in place, and wiping off any excess glue. The body of the planter is now done. I'll spruce it up a bit by adding a few nice touches. I use a coffee can top to mark the curve I want for the top, and then come back and use a jigsaw to cut out the shape. The jigsaw made quick work of the rounding process, and in no time the creation of the planter is complete. All that remains is to sand down the planter to smooth out the edges and make it ready for a light coat of stain. I also attached a clamshell wood block as a visual feature and drilled a small hole that will be used to hang it. And there we have the front door planter. Part of the fun of the planter are the spider plants inside. Once they become root-bound, they quickly begin to send out little baby plants that hang down. So I placed a few in water in a plastic bag for my friend to plant herself. Another easy gift I completed was a set of crate-style containers. I didn't film making them, but they're pretty simple to make. Simply cut your length of wood into strips and then stack and glue the strips on top of each other in an alternating pattern. Once you reach the height you want, fill in the blank space at the top from the alternating, and you now have a level top. To add supports to the bottom, simply put a few strips across the bottom, and you're done. I like making these containers because there are so many ways they can be displayed, and the person receiving them can have fun experimenting to find them. Another quick planter involves using 3-inch wide strip wood and then making a U shape. Add a bottom and then sides to the height you want for plant roots. Drill holes in the top of the U and add rope for a nice cascading planter. The same goes for making a display tray. You simply cut a length of fence picket and make a box with sides. Then add legs. You can stain it any color you like, and one way I've found to get around the high cost of paint is find the color you like and pay for a sample of the color. You'll get more than enough of the sample for 1 or even 2 projects, depending on how much you use at a fraction of the cost. Just tell the clerk you can't decide what color will work in your dining room. You don't want to encourage them to raise the prices. Or, going back to the front door planter I just made, add a second container to make a 2-tier planter for a draping plant on the bottom and succulents in the top. You get the idea once you start letting your imagination take over, and they cost almost nothing to make. So, I have a few more gifts to work on, and I'll see you next time.